Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in, and it's time for another one of my You Make the Call, Guilty or Innocent. A 22-year-old correctional officer at Hamilton Correctional Institution, Florida was arrested for bringing live ammunition into the prison. Very interesting story she gave after she was caught with the ammunition. According to reports, the officer had a clear bag, and during staff searches, they found a 9mm pistol magazine loaded with live rounds concealed beneath other items in her bag. During the search, when the ammunition was discovered, they said her demeanor changed drastically and she began to shake uncontrollably. Now, of course, there'll have to be a full-scale investigation, but you make the call. She stated that the ammunition was not supposed to be there. Well, we know that. We know it's a prison, and we know that you don't bring ammunition into a prison. So she's right on that count. It's not supposed to be there. Prison management was notified, and then she explained that a child at home must have put the ammunition in her bag, or it may have fallen into her bag from the back seat of the car. Let's go with the child putting the ammunition in the bag at home. That would be an issue of question as well. Why would the child be in possession of a loaded magazine, and where is the gun? So the child had if the child had the ammunition, where's the child in possession of the gun? That's another issue that would have to be dealt with later. Or it may have fallen into her bag from the back seat of her car. Fallen into the bag and ended up underneath all the other items. That's possible. Anything's possible. We don't know. That's why I'm asking you to make the call. She was charged with introduction of contraband, a firearm magazine with live ammunition coming into the prison. Now let's talk this over, folks. This is something that we can all learn from. Number one, I don't know many officers that would want to bring in ammunition into a prison unless they are just outright crooked. So this officer said it was all a mistake and gave a couple of scenarios on how this ammunition got in there. I really hope that she was not bringing this into an inmate. I've got some bad feelings about the whole situation. I mean, it's not every day that a loaded magazine falls into your bag or is placed into your bag underneath other items, and you end up getting caught with it. If her intent was to bring this ammunition into an inmate and jeopardize the lives of all prison staff and her fellow officers, then she needs to be sentenced. And I say go to prison. This is a very serious offense, bringing ammunition into a prison. If there's any way in the world she can prove that her stories are true, that she didn't intend to bring the ammunition in, then I hope it works out for her. But she was shaking uncontrollably once the ammunition was found. But in her bookend photo, she has a nice little smirk on her face. So I guess it's in her mind everything's going to work out, or she thinks it's funny. I'm not sure, but you know, nobody's guilty because of their bookend photo. But I just looked at her photo, and it kind of bugged me that she had a smile or a smirk on her face. Maybe she's just a nice person. But listen, folks, please check your bags when you go into the prison. Make sure you didn't leave anything in your bag that is considered contraband when going into the prison. Because even if you are innocent until proven guilty, even if you are innocent, you will be arrested and booked into your local county jail, and it's just not worth it. So, you know, a lot of people are going to say, a defense attorney is going to say, well, if she really intended on smuggling in this ammunition, she would not bring it in a clear plastic bag and go through the staff search. She would have hid it somewhere or smuggle it in later in the day or another way. I don't know. You know, there's a lot of defense that can be used on her behalf on this. But it is very suspect, no pun intended, and it's something that they're going to have to iron out. And if it is determined that she was bringing this to an inmate, again, she needs to be sentenced. Now, there's several things that the investigators can do in this case. Number one, check her phone records, subpoena her phone records, see if there's any connection at all with her phone number connecting to any inmates or inmate families or relatives or inmate friends from Hamilton Correctional Institution. Second thing you can do is do a reverse check on her phone number. Go to the prison phone system, put her phone number in there, see if any calls were made to her cell number from the prison. And by checking all these phone records, we can see if there's any three-way phone calls conducted or anything of that nature. If you find any connection with phone calls to any inmate, search that inmate's property, every single piece of paper and item in the property. If you do a thorough search of any inmate suspected to be connected with her, if, I'm not saying it is, allegedly, if there is, then you have to be very thorough in that search, because they hide phone numbers inside the letters in little bitty corners, little suspicious areas you can't see. It may even be written in between the lines of a letter from another person. So you can't just go through and start throwing things around. You have to look at every document the inmates have, every photograph the inmates have, so forth. But anyway, that will hopefully all be done thoroughly by the Inspector General's office and anybody else involved in the investigation. FDLE, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, will take a strong look at this case to check and see if they will keep her certification. I am going to say no. I'm going to say that FDLE will terminate her correctional officer certification, but I could be wrong. You know, the investigation still has to take place, innocent until proven guilty, and she was caught with the items in hand going into the prison. That is introduction. How much of her story is believable, you make the call. Thanks for watching. Please be careful out there. And I'd like to thank the officers who did a great job checking staff. I forgot to mention that. Thank you, officers. Officers did a great job checking the staff coming in. We have to police ourselves sometimes. On a final note, that's good, honest work, because by you catching this ammunition coming into the prison, you probably saved somebody's life. You probably saved somebody's life. Great job, officers, checking staff at the front entrance. Good job. Congratulations. True Prison Stories, please subscribe.